A YouTuber by the name of Dawson uploaded a video yesterday. Now, he's not uploaded in 4 months, but his video series slash documentaries, biopics, do really, really well, and they're super interesting subjects. So I was really anticipating his next subject to be something that would break all of our attention, and I'm sad to say it disappointed in a few areas. Now, I have watched Dawson since he was Shanae, since he was all these different characters about 9 years ago, and I'm a huge fan of how he's really reinvented himself with Andrew, with Ryland, with Morgan, with all of them as a team. But this documentary had some flaws which I wanted to discuss in this video, and if you share any of these opinions, please do put them in the comment section down below, because I think this series really highlighted an issue that we have socially that could really help certain individuals, particularly young, vulnerable people who are easily influenced. And I want to firstly say that massive props to you, Shane, for doing this. But I want to highlight 5 topics and 5 subjects which I feel that were kind of a bit awkward within this documentary. So without any further ado, let's take a further look into these subjects. So issue number 1 is Shane bringing in this so-called professional therapist, Katie Morton. Now, in case you guys didn't watch his previous documentary, which was on Jeffree Star, Katie Morton featured heavily in a lot of his previous videos. Now, my issue with this is it took away the personal touch for me. Now, watching this, she comes in and she says things such as, you can't do this. So she told Shane, do not say you look good. Next thing, it cuts to Shane saying, but I did. Like, I've texted her the other day, and he has his like typical Shane panic over him just caring so much and being such a caring person. But there's some issues I have with Katie Morton being so heavily involved in this. I didn't mind her opinion. In fact, I found her insight into this subject really interesting and really fascinating, but it was unnecessary because it carried on throughout the documentary. You were constantly cut into clips where you'd see her referring to these things that she was saying, particularly when Shane was interviewing Eugenia Cooney, and as he was saying things to her, he was saying what Katie Morton had told him not to say to Eugenia. Now, for me, this was supposed to be a dramatic, pivotal moment in this documentary, but it was really taken away by the fact that there was this undermined kind of running commentary from Katie Morton, who, in her defense, is a very successful, very well-established therapist. However, being a YouTuber and a therapist takes the seriousness away from me. If Shane was to hire someone who is an actual currently working therapist in the industry, who isn't a already established personality online, that would have made it more acceptable for me to view. However, because that wasn't the case, it just took away something slightly, I can't explain it, it was just slightly too produced, if that makes sense. It was too just way too kind of made in a set. It wasn't organic enough for me. So that's the first point I want to talk about. Let's go into the second point of the documentary. Now, my second point of this documentary was the use of past reference videos. Now, past reference videos are clips which are from other channels, from her channels, from her Twitch. We saw a lot of Eugenia Cooney's Twitch channel, and we were seeing these, and it left me thinking, but why have you chose her? I mean, it's clearly for the past 9 years, she's almost been around as long as Shane, and he's been in the game for 10 years, if not more. So why now? Why choose her now? There was a few clips of like people saying you should please help Eugenia Cooney, but she doesn't require the most help. In fact, she was already receiving help. So this documentary was helping someone who is being helped by professionals, and because of that reason, and because of the touchy subject and kind of unspoken subject around everything, it took it away for me, because I wanted for him, for example, with the Jeffree Star documentary that he did, which was fantastic. I think it was 5 parts, just really, really interesting. We were seeing a life of someone who we hadn't seen. However, with Eugenia Cooney, this illness that she had, this personal issue that she had that was horrendous to see, really kind of was playing out itself already without Shane having to highlight it. And that, for me, there's only so much he could dive into this subject, and I really felt that because of the subject of Eugenia Cooney and why we didn't really know he was choosing her, I just thought it needed more clarification on perhaps some recent events that have triggered the reason that he wants this to happen. So my third point of why this documentary kind of missed out a few little bits here and there, we didn't deep dive enough. Now, the interview, I have to say, was extremely, extremely uncomfortable for me to watch as a viewer. The reason why I found it extremely uncomfortable to watch was because, one, she was visibly uncomfortable. There's this constant smile on her face, and she's a very bubbly person, a very happy and positive person. That comes across extremely well. However, with the Jeffree Star, again, I'm going to reference the Jeffree Star, we saw way more than just this happy, smiley, bubbly person. We saw his gritty side. We saw the side to him that we don't see. And with Eugenia, we only saw the side that we see. Now, maybe that is because that's who she is, but I don't think that's the case with anyone. Everyone puts an act on, and she clearly put this blanket of happiness up to cover up the fact that it's she might be embarrassed, or she might feel that there's so many reasons that I can't tell. There's so many kind of psychological reasons why she might feel the need to cover up. It kind of dove into, I was wondering what voice she would use. There's a clip where Shane talks about a voice that she puts on when he notices, as the years have gone on, her voice gets higher. And I think that was definitely amplified in this. As soon as she stepped in, it was this baby voice. It was this online persona, and it just wasn't real enough for me. So there just wasn't enough deep diving into the real her. We didn't see anything other than an interview of a personality. So moving on to my final point of why I thought the Shane Dawson documentary could have been slightly more, and I have to say it was just very one level playing field. Now, there wasn't any further diving. If you think about, if we really break this documentary down, there were 20 minutes of archive footage, 40 minutes of Shane talking. Now, when he was talking, all we saw was her living room, her interview, an interview outside, and then another interview. And I could see that by the end of this documentary, it's not even a documentary, it's more of an observational interview, because all you're doing is watching her talk to Shane, not even on a personal level. And I really adore the way Shane interviews. He really feels their pain. He really understands what they're going through because of his previous issues with eating disorders. But I will say this was just an absolute struggle for me to really grip onto it and really believe it. Obviously, everything that she was talking about was so clear. But my biggest issue was he couldn't, just because of how sensitive everything was and is, he could not get her to say what she had. All she said was it was an eating disorder. There's so many eating disorders that come under the umbrella of that it could be anorexia, which clearly it's anorexia. She's not eating enough. That was one thing that she said. It could be body dysmorphia. She could be bulimic. There's so much that needed to be spoken about. And although the documentary highlighted an issue that she had, there was no correlation to why she has it. So we don't know why Eugenia had this illness. We do not know her triggers, whether it was just a personal thing. So I struggle to believe that at the end it's going to help young women or young people, because what was relatable about it was really kind of jarred and blurred, and I just couldn't believe it myself. So that's kind of my opinion on the documentary. Guys, this is just my opinion. If any of you have a different opinion, or if you haven't seen it, I will link it down in the comment section down below. Please do give it a watch and give me your opinion, because that is what these videos are going to be about. I'm going to really move away from gaming because I really want to explore documentaries, and I'm actually making some documentaries at the moment. One documentary I'm writing at the moment. So I'm going to do some really big production videos, use my film career experience just to really amplify my content. But yeah, guys, I hope you are having a great weekend, and I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, smash the thumbs up button, smash that subscribe button, and ding that notification bell. I make a new video every single Saturday. But for now, it has been your boy Bitter. Much love and peace.